and then tell you how we got to those facts. Because the whole goal is to create a virtuous cycle of economic opportunity and growth in the city of Chicago. What city is the #1 city for corporate relocations every year for the last 4 years? Chicago. What city is the #1 city for direct foreign investment every year for the last 4 years? Chicago. What city's economy grew faster than the United States and faster than New York and DC every year for the last 5 years? Chicago. What city had the deepest drop in poverty in the United States of America? Chicago. So it's not contained, it's worked at all levels. Which city had the #1 growth in real estate values in the commercial space in the United States, and the second most in the world? Chicago. And what city also was rated in Time Out magazine? This I laugh at every time because I find it like shocking, and I'm like big for Chicago. #1 city in the world by Time Out magazine for the best quality of life. Chicago. Now, my kids always tease me, I'm a big booster about everything Chicago. I didn't even believe that. And I'll believe anything that's great about Chicago. Okay? But our strategy, and I say that because as I come here, I just met 4 great kids. 3 are going to DePaul, 1's going to Loyola. City of Chicago's education level is 36% of the people in the city of Chicago have a 4-year college degree or better. In the United States, it's 27%. Keeping our gains academically, continuing to drive that academic, is key to the city of Chicago. And let me give you by example. There was 3 studies done of about 100 cities around the globe, one by Economist magazine, one by IBM, Global Cities, one by A.T. Kearney. All different studies, all over the last 4 years. In each of the studies, of 100 cities across the globe, Chicago ranked either 9th, 8th, or 7th most competitive across the globe. Now, as the mayor, I believe the 7th one by A.T. Kearney was absolutely right. But what was interesting is the top 10 cities, the only city in the top 10 list, which was Chicago, was the only city that was neither the political or financial capital of the respective country. So London is on the list. It's both the political and financial capital of the world for Great Britain. New York is on the list. Tokyo is on the list. Now, why does Chicago, that neither has, thank God we don't have Washington, D.C. here, and thank God we don't have Wall Street, why is Chicago in the top 10 worldwide? 36% of the people in the city of Chicago have a 4-year college degree. We have more universities than any other city in the United States but Boston. And we have more graduates from the Big Ten states than any other city. More people graduate from Wisconsin live here than Madison. More people graduate from Michigan, live here, than Ann Arbor. More people graduate from here, graduate from Columbus, Ohio, live here than there. We have 3/4 of a million people with graduate degrees from the Big Ten. Second, is that an amen? Because if that's an amen, I would be speaking at church on Sunday. Number 2, don't worry about it, brother, I love you. Okay? Number 2. Chicago's aviation system allows you to get anywhere in the world and anywhere in the United States directly multiple times a day. We have more flights to China than any other airport but LA. We have more flights to England, France, anywhere you want to go. Anywhere in the United States, weather permitting, and next week I have the city council changing that. So the ability, though, we're the only city in the entire North America that American United and Southwest have their major operations. So I was with a company yesterday. They're going to move, it looks like, their worldwide headquarters here, 1,000 jobs. When I went through the educational gains, the ability, they were an international company. The ability, I said, give me your list of all your operations across the globe and all your markets. And I said, I'll have a list to you by that afternoon, how many times we serve each of your markets every day. No city can match it. Our quality of life, cost of living, is the lowest of any big city in the United States. We're 1/3 the cost of living of New York or San Francisco. And then the other thing we had to do was make sure that we got our public finances in order after years of not really structure. The one cloud that hung over the city was that. And so by both investing in education, investing in transportation, investing in our public transportation system, investing in a bike network system, making sure that we continue to build that and bring companies in. Today I announced on the south side a new auto manufacturing company. Not only is our vacancy rate the lowest it's ever been in 20 years downtown, our industrial occupancy is the highest it's been since 2001. So it's not just the central business district. All parts of the economy are actually moving and growing in the city. We actually have an industrial area, a shortage of space. I have a problem finding places for transportation, distribution, logistics centers, which are growing. And because of Chicago's central location, if it runs on roads, runways, or railways, they want to be based here. We may never let it out, but it definitely comes through the city of Chicago. Now that's the strong part. The second thing, we can obviously offer people that are graduates from DePaul and Loyola, like the young kids here, University of Michigan, University of Chicago. My other goal is we're the only city in the United States, and a policy I set up, which is if you get a B average in high school, we make community college free in the city of Chicago for every child who graduates from Chicago Public Schools, regardless of your legal status. Because if you believe in the American dream, I want Chicago to be home. If you land in 1973, I don't remember what the date here was like then, but I don't want to date myself. I was a little pup, I had no idea what it was. But if you believe in the American dream, if you believe your kids should have a better tomorrow, your home has to be this city.
Yeah, I agree.
Never should we allow us to turn our back. I am the son and the grandson of an immigrant. My dad arrived in 1959 from Israel. My grandfather on my mother's side arrived in 1917, 100 years ago this year. Not a word of English, 13 years old, by himself, to meet a cousin he never knew. He was from Eastern Europe because they were killing Jews. He came to a city, he could not even pronounce the name of this city. And his grandson is the mayor of it. Don't anybody Everybody in this room journeyed from somewhere. Some people flew the Pacific, some people flew the Atlantic, some people flew the Rio, and some people came up the Mississippi. But everybody came here because they thought through sacrifice, struggle, and hard work, their kids can have a better tomorrow. And dang it, it's true today and it will be true tomorrow as long as I'm mayor. And the hardest thing we have done is to make sure, look, I don't know everybody in this room. I just met the kids and just talked to them where they're going to school. I don't know everybody. We're different faiths. I'm the father of 3 children. I will guarantee we have the same values. We want our kids to study hard, do right, make good decisions, have a good judgment, and make sure that they do something on themselves, and because they're fortunate, to give something back. I don't care what your faith is, that's what you want for your children. I don't care where you come from, that's what you want for your children. And our job here, and my job, I cannot ensure that kids have, I think, the 2 things that are essential for them: a good education and the love of their parents. I make it a purpose, no matter what, 3 times a day I tell my kids I love them. When I want to kill them, I tell them I love them. I said, I love you so much, I would like to kill you right now. But the truth is, as mayor, I can't make up for 1, but I can do something about number 2. Chicago once, when I was the mayor, had the shortest school day and the shortest school year. And I believe that if we gave our kids a fair chance, they could succeed. Fact, which city led the country every year for the last 4 years and tripled the graduation rate in the national number? Chicago. Which city, only urban system, kids actually now match the United States average of going to college, 42%, community college, 20%? Chicago. And I guarantee you our population does not reflect the rest of the United States. 85% of our kids are poverty or below. And yet we match the United States in going to college, going to community college. Which kids led the United States in 8th grade reading gains, rather math gains? Chicago. Which school system kids led 4th grade reading gains? Chicago. Now who would bet on a city whose kids are leading in math and reading and graduation and college attendance? So one day those kids can sit in every one of these chairs. And our job is to make sure, because I fundamentally believe as mayor, kids begin to drop out of college in 3rd grade. They do not drop out freshman year. If they can't read in 3rd grade, it's not like 4th grade is going to get a hell of a lot easier. And we have to make sure, the truth is, that they know their letters, they know their shapes, they know their colors when they're 3 years old. So they have the foundation to be in this room. They have the educational system to do right. And the good news is we're making the tough decisions academically, and we've got to make the tough decisions financially to right the ship. Don't worry about it. I grew up with a pediatrician as a father. I have all kinds of noise in my house. So we can do those things. And the ultimate goal for me as mayor now, I can give you all that sense. I have one goal for this city. So whether you're a child that grows up on Devon Avenue, whether you're a child that grows up in 26th Street in Little Village, and whether you're a child that grows up on Cicero, in any part of that, and whether you're in Roseland, Ravenswood, and where I live, whether you're up in Rogers Park, and all that perspective. When you walk out and a child walks out of their home or walks out of their school and looks at this city, they see this power represented by these buildings, the energy that represented in this building, the power, the sense of optimism, the sense of future. If they think that that is their city, nothing. But if the kid of Rogers Park has a perspective that is not shared by the kid in Ravenswood, but they're not shared by the child in Roseland, we will never be what we can be. And until every child has the same perspective with the same optimism and the same hope, we cannot be who we want to be. But if they do, London, New York, LA, Beijing, Bombay, I got one word for you. Watch out, Chicago's coming. No, take a couple questions.
So the mayor is going to take a couple of questions. Does anybody have a question? I have a question.
Really? You didn't want to think about it for a while? I've done that, like 1,000 events. There's always like this pregnant 2 seconds where nobody knows.
Actually, I just flew from LA last night.
Yeah.
And they are looking to do the Olympics 2024 in LA, and they put a big sign there.
Yeah.
Why don't Chicago also go for it?
Because I'll tell you this, I got a thing called the Olympics. It's called a presidential library.
Okay. All right.
Here's the deal. They can go ahead and have the Olympics.
Okay.
The city had an experience with it. I don't want to repeat it.
All right.
I went after getting here's the Olympics come and they go.
That's
The
one of my question.
You only get one. You lost your chance on number 2. Because I've been thinking about this answer before you asked the
Close to
question.
my heart, and it's important.
Okay, go ahead.
It's about the gang violence in Chicago.
Yeah.
This is, we
Okay.
need to.
Here's the thing. If we do not, we have a challenge on the west and south side, predominantly but not limited. If we do not provide those children with a mentor, there's going to be a mentor from the gangster cycle. If we do not provide them a sense of community, the Latin Kings will be that community. And now part of that is, let me be clear, the police have a job to do, you have a job to do, education has a job to do, opportunity has a job to do, but so does the criminal justice system. And what I mean by that is last week when we saw the horrific incident, the young man was arrested in January for gun violence and he's back on the streets in May. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And there's got to be an answer that way, as much as there is with jobs, opportunity, replacing despair with hope. And we can do it, but we have a lot of work because there's decisions that have been made and not made over 40 years that got us there. We didn't get here overnight. The good news is we got a very strong police department. We have a strong sense of community. We have to make sure every part of the city has investments.
Thank you, sir.
You only get one question.
No? Okay, Mr. Mayor, then I have a small presentation for you.
Is it rice?
No rice or rose petals,
Okay.
but we do have some.
like rice roast though.
Okay, so my mom is presenting you with a little bit of flowers and a small gift from the community.
I get this photo because every time I have a photo, you're in it. I want a photo with all the Shaw girls.
And then this is something for Amy.
Oh, that's very nice of you. That's very thoughtful. I thought I was just bringing food for Amy.
And we've taken care of that as well.
Okay.
As in the Indian community, you never have to worry about going home empty. And then we have, so now we'll just have somebody, the Indian community would like to invite you to the parade.
Okay.
And, you know, we know that your schedule's very busy, but we have a letter that they would like to present, and then Kirti is going to quickly just say thank you. So the president of the IA.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you publicly and applaud your leadership, your commitment, your passion. You're emotionally committed to the city of Chicago, and we applaud and adore you.